Hey everybody, it's me Chris. I'm back over here in the kitchen. I got Jack helping me out. Today we're gonna make a great recipe for summer, and we're making fresh salsa. And if you've ever seen it in the store, to me it doesn't look so fresh. It comes in those plastic containers. It looks like it's been sitting in water for about a month. Trust me, once you make this fresh salsa with some nice ripe tomatoes and some fresh ingredients, you'll never buy it in the store again. It's really delicious. It's great on tacos. It's great with a bag of chips. Let me show you our ingredients.
These are the ingredients.
Let me show you what I got. Look at these nice fresh ingredients. I got here 2 types of tomatoes. I had some leftover cherry tomatoes. I love these things and they're super sweet. So I'm going to use some of those. And then Roma tomatoes, which is usually what you use for both pico de gallo and fresh salsa. And you want a nice dark red color, and you want it to be slightly soft, not mushy, okay? Today I have some serrano chilies, or you could use jalapeno. And how much you use is up to you. It just depends on how spicy you want it. These aren't that spicy. I'm gonna use a couple. I have here, what you got there?
A lime.
Yeah, we have a lime that we're gonna use, and we'll use this. You've seen this before, right, Jack?
Yes.
It's the juicer.
We always have it.
And fresh cilantro. And then onions, two types of onions you can use. I like to use red onion when I'm having a raw onion, as I am here. But also the white is pretty traditional. One thing I would suggest though, if you're gonna use the white onion in a fresh salsa, cut it up first and just rinse it under some cold water. It'll take away some of that harsh onion flavor. And then we just have some salt and pepper, and we're using the food processor today. So the first thing we're gonna do is cut the onion. And I'm just gonna cut both the ends off like I usually do. And I'll cut this in half. And again, it depends on your taste, how much onion you wanna put in here. I'm gonna use half. This is a pretty large onion. So I'm gonna use half of it for that amount of tomatoes. And what you gotta do is, these vegetables need a little help in the food processor, or they just won't break down properly. You'll end up with big chunks, and it just won't be even. So I'm just gonna give it a rough chop and throw it right into the food processor. All right, so next I'm gonna do the serranos, and I got one pretty large one here and one small one. That should be enough. And I'm just gonna, again, rough chop these. And by the way, these vegetables, all of this stuff has been washed and dried already. Okay, so that should be good. I'm gonna throw these on top of the onion. And I'm using the seeds in these as well, because I already tried these serrano chilies. They're not that spicy, so I want a little bit of extra heat, but you could remove the seeds if you don't want it too spicy. The next thing I'm going to do is just grab some big handful of this cilantro. You can throw the stems in there. I'm going to take out the larger stems and just put those to the side. This looks like enough. I'm just going to throw that right in. And now for my Roma tomatoes. So I just cut off the end here. And then I want to use all this, so I'm going to cut around the stem piece there, and that piece you can get rid of. Just going to give this kind of a rough dice. Does not have to be perfect, but again, you just want to help this out a little bit so that when we turn on the food processor, it chops it evenly, okay? And just be careful here. This can get a little slippery. You definitely don't want to cut yourself here. Okay, so these can go in. All right, so I got all my Roma tomatoes in, and now my cherry tomatoes, I'm just gonna put those in whole. And this is pretty full. I mean, usually I try not to fill it up so much because you wanna make sure you get a even mix, but again, I've had these cherry tomatoes for a few days. I just don't want them to go bad. And then the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our lime and cut it in half. And I need my lime juicer. Hey Jack, can you pass that to me? Thanks. Okay, so I take my lime juicer, and I'm going to use a whole lime, but that's up to you on how much lime you like, or how big your limes are, how much juice they have. All right, this looks pretty good. All right, so before we start to mix this, I'm going to give this a nice, healthy couple pinches of salt. This needs a good amount of salt. You're looking at least a teaspoon plus of kosher salt and some fresh cracked pepper. And then if you want to kick this up a little bit, you could add some more spices, some different type of seasonings, even some taco seasoning. And now all we got to do is put the lid on. What we're going to do is, and here's the key part, you want to make sure you don't want to mix this on high. You just want to gently pulse it and start to break it down until you get your desired consistency. Now you don't want mush, but you also don't want big chunks. You want to get a nice consistency that you can dip a chip into. And I'm just going to start doing that and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. And you can see it start to mix. And what I want to do is I'm just going to grab a spatula.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just give this a little stir. Make sure we're getting all the big chunks down towards the bottom. Just like this. Okay, we'll put the lid back on.
It's really good.
And then we'll pulse it a couple more times. This looks pretty good. And let me see if I can give you a close-up of that. Okay, now we're just going to transfer this to our serving bowl carefully. And that looks great. Just get that last bit, we'll scrape down the bowl. This looks great. And you can see it's going to give off a lot of water. And that's okay. You could drain some if you want. But I think we got perfect consistency, okay? It's a little bit finer than a pico de gallo. And I think this would be perfect to dip some chips in. So I really am happy with the way this came out. Let me see if I can give you a little bit of a close-up of the consistency there. And then the last thing I want to do, I just want to try this for seasoning. See if we need to add more salt. Wow, I think that's almost perfect. Just a tiny pinch more salt. I'll give it a stir and we're ready for some chips. All right, so now it's time to try it. I put this into a glass bowl so you can really see what it looks like. We've got some tortilla chips here, and I just want to give you a nice visual of how great this looks. Our fresh salsa. Now the only thing left to do is dip in and give it a try, Jack. Go ahead. And again, my serrano chilies, they're not too spicy. I already checked them out first, so even Jack can have this.
They're spicy for me.
This looks great. All right, so that's it. That's how easy it is to make fresh salsa at home. And you know, it tastes amazing. The first thing that comes to mind when I take a bite is just freshness. It just tastes fresh and light and delicious and is really low in calories. You gotta check this out, right Jack? Isn't it amazing? That's how you make fresh salsa.
Wait.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. We really hope you try this recipe out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.